This is the fourth installment to the series entitled Build Your Business into an Asset of Value. Strategy. Deliberately choosing a different set of activities to deliver a unique mix of value. A plan is not a strategy. A strategy is a set of decisions about the direction the business will take to create value. In contrast, a plan is mapping out a sequence of activities to produce a specified result. Replicator businesses develop a strategy to compete, but builders develop a strategy to win. Let's say you want to bake a cake to sell. How would you go about it? It's easier than you think. You obtain a recipe for a cake of your choice. Then you follow the instructions meticulously. Obtain the right ingredients, measure the ingredients out correctly, and mix the ingredients in the right order. Then bake the dough at the right temperature for the prescribed duration in the oven. If you follow the instructions, you will end up with a cake. But understanding what type of cake customers want, in what quantities to bake cake, how to best deliver cake to customers, and at what price to promote cake requires much more than a recipe. A plan is like a recipe. To come up with a plan, simply look at what has been done before, learn and copy. Planning is about doing the same things but only better. Good planning allows your business to get onto the field, to participate in the game, to compete. You can build a replicator business very successfully by developing a plan, but this will not translate into shareholder value. A strategy, on the other hand, is about winning. The objective is to gain a competitive edge, to occupy a position from where to dominate, to create, in the words of Michael Porter, a unique mix of value. Value for customers, suppliers, and ultimately shareholders. The Harvard Business School developed the value stick model to illustrate how value is created for various stakeholders. Value is subjective. A customer's perspective of value is an indication of their willingness to buy, whereas the perceived value from a supplier's perspective is an indication of their willingness to sell. Consider a commercial property owner, a landlord. The landlord seeks to sell retail space to tenants. Smaller tenants will appreciate the value of a retail shopping mall where the landlord has secured large anchor tenants like a Woolworths or a Checkers store. Large anchor stores attract much retail traffic from which smaller stores may benefit. The presence of large anchor stores increases the willingness of smaller tenants to buy, because of the perceived value of larger tenants in the mall. Conversely, suppliers and service providers to the landlord are more willing to sell their services to the landlord as they perceive a shopping center with large tenants as a better prospect. As the business owner implements a strategy that simultaneously creates value for customers, increasing their willingness to buy, and value for suppliers, increasing their willingness to sell, value for shareholders is created. It is essential that the business leader adopt a strategy that results in value on all three levels of the value stick: the customer, shareholders, and other stakeholders. Neglect any one of these and the business suffers. Entrepreneurial managers, especially those from an employment background, are often exceptionally good at planning, but seldom good at leading. It is the leader's responsibility to craft a strategy, which means doing different things differently. It's uncomfortable. Insisting on a new strategy creates angst within an organization. Managers enjoy planning because a plan promises a clear path to a specified outcome. Like a recipe for baking a cake, a plan is a tried and tested set of activities in sequence. Simply follow the instructions and you will get the cake. In contrast, a strategy starts with a hypothesis, a supposition, or proposed explanation based on limited evidence as a starting point for further investigation. Somehow, Steve Jobs, co-founder of Apple Inc., got it into his head that people might like to carry a small device in their pockets that would allow them to download and listen to music whilst walking, jogging, or riding their bicycles. It had never been done. There was no recipe to bake the cake, which later became known as the Apple iPod. There was no clear path to a specified outcome, only a hunch, an idea, all of which based on intuition. To go from idea to coherent strategy, Steve had to ask the question, what must be true for my hypothesis to stand? People like technology. People want to listen to music. Internet access will become widespread. People like to take music with them on a walk, jog, or cycle. People will be willing to pay for such a device. Only once Steve and his team had proven the validity of their strategy could they embark on formulating a plan, a set of activities in sequence to produce a specified outcome. Strategy precedes planning. First, a strategy from which a value proposition is derived. A value proposition which becomes the center around which the entrepreneur must design a business model. Then comes plans to produce the product or deliver the service. Let's say you are a property professional with many years of experience in your industry. You understand the game and recently decided to start your own estate agency. Over the years, you've seen what works and what doesn't work in estate agencies. You have learned from the best and are able to design and build a super efficient estate agency business. But you essentially do what all other estate agencies do. Only you will do it better, faster, and at a lower cost to the consumer. What have you accomplished? You've come up with a plan, a recipe, a formula. The result is that you have a competitive business. You can outwork, outsell, and outcompete your competitors. But competitors can learn, just like you did, and soon replicate better models. You can compete on this basis, but it's a treadmill. What you have not accomplished is to create shareholder value, the precondition for developing a business into an asset of value. How is it that only 4 grocery chains in South Africa dominate food sales? Checkers, Pick n Pay, Spar and Woolworths. I, like many South Africans, visit grocery stores regularly and find little reason to differentiate between grocery store chains. Neither the products, pricing, or the interaction with store employees are differentiators. No competitor in this field outwork, outcompete, or outsell their rivals. What then explains their dominance? On the surface, the consumer sees a grocery chain, but these businesses are in fact supply chain specialists. Their business is procuring, storing, and moving stock. A consumer in the Gauteng province, where 70% of the country's gross domestic product is produced, is unlikely to find himself at any moment any further than 2 kilometers away from one of these grocery stores. With thousands of stores nationwide, grocery store chains are in a position to negotiate low-cost prices from producers. To create shareholder value, the business must craft a strategy that derives a clear competitive advantage to dominate, to win. I did not set out to write a book on the topic of strategy. Many better authors have written on this topic. What I set out to do is impress on you, an entrepreneur aspiring to develop a business into an asset of value, the importance of crafting a coherent strategy from the outset. Don't fall into the trap of blindly copying and then attempting to outwork competitors. Apart from the immediate benefits of generating profit, there is no value in doing that. Profits are important, no doubt about that. But investors, the people you want to ultimately attract to your business, don't pay for past profitability. Investors seek a business that has a unique competitive advantage, a value proposition derived from a strategy that creates value for customers, suppliers, and shareholders. Thank you for watching. To access the full series, visit Constructum Online Learning on YouTube or click on the link in the post.